cycling. Obviously in Zimbabwe we didn't have, the BMX tracks or the, at that stage, I'm older than most, born in 1974, so 47 years old today. And for me it was just independence. It was getting out, having fun, exploring, and adventure. That's how it all started out.
Interesting. So fast forwarding, how did you become the voice of cycling?
So, Rashawn, I don't know. To be honest,
some of the best stories.
Yeah, so I'm actually a qualified land surveyor by trade. So studying in the engineering field, was always sporty, always played ball sports, and when I wasn't playing ball sports, I was either on my bike or riding around or using my bike as a method of transport to find my friends and go out, and I think because of that, I sort of understood and knew a lot of different sporting codes. And after racing, I played water polo for many years and got into adventure racing, where I was lucky enough to race around the world in the adventure racing circuit and did things like, Eco Challenge, Rate Gauloise, those sort of things. And then, I just came back and started my own events company back in Pietermaritzburg, South Africa, and the birthplace of the GOAT, Greg Minnaar. And, we've been friends for a long time and just got into putting on my own events, started doing little home events, little triathlons, off-road triathlons, and picked up a microphone one day at one of them, started talking. And just from there, found a niche, was doing something different, was having a lot of fun with it. It was it wasn't something that you were making a lot of money on, but you certainly were super passionate about it. And from there, just progressed and just found myself in the right place at the right time. Got my first big international gig in 2009 in Pietermaritzburg, actually at the World Cup for BMX. The international speaker, who's legend Mike Redman, who you might know on the BMX side, absolute legend on the microphone and someone that I use as a mentor, couldn't make it out in 2009, and I was sort of the local organizer of the event at the time, and the guy said, hey, can you commentate? So I was like, sure.
Yeah. What do you got to say? No?
Let's just go, roll with the punches and rather to ask for forgiveness than permission, so I just went at it.
Right, so you just never know what the bike is gonna lead you to, and that brings me to my next question about Qhubeka, right? It's this non-profit organization in South Africa that's literally changing the lives one bike at a time.
Right.
And I see a parallel between how you fell into the sport and becoming a commentator to what you guys are doing with Qhubeka and giving bikes, because that bike, I will let you tell the story, but that bike literally changed lives. What do you say about Qhubeka?
So it's interesting, I've been involved with Qhubeka probably for over 12 years now in some way or another, whether it's been as a fundraiser or a charity or just been involved in the communities. And Qhubeka is the community, it's a Xhosa word, which is basically one of the local tribes in South Africa. And it's the Xhosa word for to move forward, basically to mobilize, to give opportunity. And that's exactly what it does, like we spoke about earlier. The bicycle, if you think about it, the first time you got on your bike and you were able to ride away from your parents, that's your first time you gain independence, isn't it? And it's your first time to explore, to adventure, to be by yourself and to have that independence and confidence to do more, And it's the ability to mobilize that in a human being, I think, which is quite spectacular and quite rare. And again, you look at the bicycle, Rashawn, the bicycle hasn't changed. The fundamental bicycle has not changed since it was developed by our friend Graham Bell. So it's just such an incredible device and such a simple device, and the ability to be able to get it to everybody and to give everybody the opportunity to experience that freedom is something which is close to my heart and something which makes a massive difference,
Yeah, I could totally feel the passion in your voice, and not just you, anybody that's involved with Qhubeka. Like when they start to talk about it, you can see this different personality and almost demeanor come out because they're so passionate about it. How does Qhubeka make you feel, being involved with that charity?
So it's incredible. It's weird because I'm actually getting goosebumps as I talk to you. I met up with Anthony Fitzhenry, who was the founder of Qhubeka, and have known him and see him as a mentor and a friend over the last 12 years or whatever it is. And he was the one that sort of just explained the simplicity behind, hey guys, this is, you see the hand out there, Victor Campenaerts and the guys all getting it out there, but it's a hand up, not a handout. And I think that is an issue that we see with a lot of charities around the world, where people say, we want, give us, but Actually, no, it's not about that. It's about the education. It's about taking someone who's invested, taking someone who wants to set goals and achieve things, and then to reward them in that space. And for me, that's the beauty of what this is, the sustainability of it. You know, it's one of the 5 charities of the Tour de France. You know, this is a charity that is legit. This is a charity that is really doing incredible things. This is a charity that is changing lives, and not only changing the lives of the person that's using the bicycle, but also changing the lives of their family and their community around them. You know, the bike has the ability, specifically one of the main reasons why the Qhubeka charity was founded was to get kids to school earlier, to not have them walking, you know, 1.5, 2, 3 hours to school, getting there on tired legs, falling asleep in class, and then still having to do that trip home. You know, now you're taking away 70% of that time, because now they can ride a bicycle to get there. And that bicycle then becomes a tool for them as well. You know, in the afternoon when they're doing their chores, instead of going down to the river and having to carry up a 20-liter container, you know, with their hands, and these are young kids doing their chores at home, they're now able to use the pannier on the bicycle to take a friend down with them, to work together, to get those chores done and to contribute to their household. So the change doesn't just come independently to that one individual, it's actually changing that household, and in turn it's changing that community for the better, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's a big snowball effect. I had the opportunity to go to the Dimension Beta training camp in, I believe it was 2018, and got a chance to see a handover in one of the villages. And one thing that stood out to me the most was the fact that the bike allowed them, to your point, to get home faster and actually be a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have
like
fun.
just
Have fun.
Just to be with their siblings or play with their friends, or you know, after they get their studies done, just do things that kids do, because without the bike they totally lose that, because like you said, they're spending 70% of their time just walking and getting from point A to point B. So that stood out to me, and it was extremely incredible, because I have children of my own. It's like I couldn't imagine them coming home, you know, leaving at maybe 5 in the morning and getting back at 5 in the afternoon or in the evening, and that's their whole day. You know, they have no time to be a kid. So yeah, I appreciate that. So from your perspective, how has cycling changed your life? I know that you're in I don't know if you want to say the limelight, but you're in a pretty unique situation, and you're the voice that people recognize. It's funny, you can watch the Tour de France and listen to Phil Liggett, and Phil Liggett brings you back to the Tour, and I think you do that for a lot of people as well. How does that change how does cycling change your life in that aspect?
So it's interesting because, like, you know, I remember boosting my first double on my BMX, you know, like the thrill of landing it, you know, like you crash it, eventually land it. You know, it's like the jumps that you build in your backyard. You know, I had an older brother who was always beating up on me, and we were always, you know, just best of friends, causing trouble, you know, all the time. And, you know, for me, cycling is happiness. You know, and the ability to be able to bring that across. And like I said, when I started commentating, I started with kids, you know, little kids on little push bikes, going across a line, you know, hearing their name, seeing the smile, mom and dad, like, you know, high-fiving them in the face as they come across, you know. And for me, the ability to take that passion and to take it into the professional level, working on things like the Olympic Games and, you know, the World Championships and the World Cups and, you know, pilot projects and pet projects around the world. You know, it's exciting. You know, I was with Brad Sona this last weekend in Snowshoe, and the passion is what makes it so much fun. You know, sharing that passion with others, getting them to feel the vibe and get interested in the sport. A lot of people, you know, coming to an event, seeing it for the first time, you're able to communicate the joy and the brilliance of the two wheels, you know. And I think, you know, I'm going to be able to hopefully ride a bike as long as I can. You know, I may not be the fastest rider, I may not be the best rider, but I love riding my bike. I really just love getting out there, spending time with mates, going for a coffee. It's just that freedom, you know, that ability to just down, you know, just cut everything else off, just totally download and just get involved in the moment, you know. I think that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, it really does, because like you, when I get on I could have 1,001 issues sitting here, but when I get on the bike, for some reason, they just disappear for that time that I'm on the bike, you know, and 100%. You can go for an hour or 5 hours. And oftentimes I totally just forget all the issues that I'm going through, you know, life stuff. So yeah, I can appreciate that. So with all the charities that are in, you know, our world, there's a lot of good ones. Yeah. Qhubeka is definitely one of the greater ones. If you had people that was on the fence of donating to Qhubeka, what would you say to them? You're in a room of 100 people and you have to sell it to dig in their pockets. What would you say?
You know what? I think for me, Qhubeka sells itself. So I would just say, guys, don't hesitate. Hesitation, devastation. Get out there, guys. Put your hands in your pockets. This is surreal. This is legit. It's not window dressing. It's not smoke and mirrors. This is life-changing. You, for whatever amount you can afford, are going to be able to make a difference in a person's life. And that person will then make a difference in turn to the people around them and the people around them. It's a roll-on effect. It's a ripple effect in a pond. And there's just, how much are you spending on a cup of coffee at Starbucks? You know what I mean? These bikes are not expensive. You're paying, what is it, $200 for a bike? It's not a lot. This bike is sustainable. This bike is bulletproof. These kids are taught not only to ride the bikes, but to look after the bikes. And these kids are being empowered. They're not only being taught skills, life skills, but they're being taught entrepreneurship. They've been taught how to have an opportunity, how to be able to make a difference, not only in their lives and their community lives, but maybe to have dreams. And I think that's so important, Rashawn, the ability to be able to dream, the ability to be able to say, this is possible. I've seen other people do it. You see Nick Lamini, who rides for the Qhubeka Next Hash team. I mean, Nick, I've known for a long time. That kid is the real deal. He's come from these projects. He's come and he hasn't made excuses. He hasn't put up his hand and said, give me a handout. He said, hey, give me a hand up. I'm going to work for it. I want this, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make it happen. And I think that's it doesn't need to be proven. You won't have someone like the ASO backing Qhubeka if they weren't the real deal, if they weren't legit. And you wouldn't see the smiles on these kids' faces. You saw what it was like when you were in Cape Town in 2018. A kid gets on the bike for a first time and gets told that bike is their bike. Life changes right there, right then, immediately. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think in some regard too, like you said, the kids, they're not just given the bike. They have to earn it. There's certain things they have to do to earn this bike. And then they learn all these different skills to maintain the bike. And I would think within their villages and projects and whatnot, they're actually probably inspiring the other kids. Like,
exactly.
I want a bike too. What I got to do to get a bike? You know what I mean? So it almost gives you like this bit of a status because they know that you earned that bike. No one gave you anything. And so it could be very inspiring for the other kids in the villages as well. So, man, this was awesome. Each one of these interviews has been absolutely encouraging, inspiring, just absolutely phenomenal. And it's really nice to talk to you on your birthday as well. So that's all I have for now. If you have any closing remarks, feel free, but I really, really, truly appreciate your time.
Rashawn, it's been amazing, bro. And thanks for sharing my birthday with me. Thanks to everyone on the Zwift Power Apps for listening and to Zwift, guys. What you guys are doing is incredible. You guys have no idea the lives that you guys changed during COVID and continue to change on a daily basis, So the community work you guys do is incredible. And just don't forget to high-five yourself in the face sometimes. I know sometimes you're on this train and you're driving forward, but sometimes just sit back, relax, high-five yourself in the face and appreciate the lives that you guys are changing on your side as well.
We appreciate that. We'll definitely keep pushing, keep going forward, and hopefully changing more lives as we, enjoy this platform called Zwift, which, like you said, is changing lives. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, Rashawn. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.